Super Bowl media night was actually a mess, but there were two big leaks that massively favor the Eagles and further aid their chances of winning on Sunday. Plus how the Chiefs are completely underestimating Saquon Barkley, and why KC's best defensive player might be a non-factor once again. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. If you've never watched the opening media night bonanza that is the Monday before every Super Bowl, honestly, last night you didn't miss much, as both teams gathered inside the Superdome dressed in their fancy sweatsuits to answer some of the most ridiculous questions the national media could possibly come up with. And if you don't believe me, here's just a taste of some of the dumb questions that Jalen Hurts and the rest of the birds were asked last night.
How can I get more handsome?
Sorry?
How can I get more handsome? My girlfriend says I'm the most handsome quarterback in the league. Any advice? Like, something to do with my hair? I'm desperate, anything.
Man, I don't know if I can help you on that one.
Hurts, who has the best smile in the NFL. Am I going to see it? Those pearly whites. Oh, I saw just a glimmer, just a little snippet.
Trying to make me laugh, man.
Patrick Starr said he could eat 1,000 Krabby Patties in 5 minutes. How many do you think you'd eat? Please don't say one.
I'm not eating no Krabby Patty.
Hey, one more question, Saquon. One more question. In this free agency, man, I'm a free agent. I really don't got no job. Who should sign me in free agency?
I think New York needs a little bit right now.
Yeah, pretty bad and pretty pointless, but we did get some actual news that kind of leaked last night. I'm sure Philadelphia hoped would stay under wraps for a few more days, but now the cat's out of the bag. Starting with BG, who, as of right now, has not officially been cleared to play on Sunday, but did tell the media yesterday, quote, "I'm excited to play in this game," before quickly clarifying that, well, we'll go through the week and see. I don't know about you, but it sounds like to me, BG just spilled the beans on his, as we expected, return this weekend. Now, I've seen a lot of people in the media say, yeah, BG might come back, but he's not going to be 100%, although people seem to forget that right before his tricep injury, he was absolutely dominating on the Eagles' defensive line. Brandon Graham was on pace for 8.5 sacks this year, and was the 8th best edge rusher in the entire NFL in terms of stopping the run. Look at these numbers. Philadelphia's run defense prior to BG getting hurt had 6 straight games without allowing a 100-yard rusher. Since BG's injury, though, they've allowed 7 teams to rush for over 100 yards. Historically, KC is not a great running team, but if BG is 70% and continues to be dominant against the run, it's another asset and hopefully another part of the Chiefs' offense that can be squashed, further putting the pressure on Mahomes and obviously Andy Reid to try to figure out the Birds' #1 defense. Also, if you missed yesterday's show, I'm giving away a signed Cooper DeJean Super Bowl mini helmet, an Eagles opening media night t-shirt, which I think is fantastic, might buy one of these myself, and of course an Eagles Super Bowl jersey, all at halftime of our Super Bowl live stream this coming Sunday. And to enter, it's super easy. Every single person who is subscribed, drops a like, and leaves a comment on each of my videos this week will go ahead and get an entry. There's gonna be 4 videos this week, so a total of 4 entries per person. So drop a comment down below. I'll also link to yesterday's video where you can get your second entry in, and stay tuned for the rest of the week. Now, the other Eagles injury news that came out last night was center Cam Jurgens, who again has not officially practiced since the Birds win over the Commanders due to his back injury, but did let slip after a media member prodded a lot that he feels pretty good and will play on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the trainers and medical staff. They've been working around the clock and helped me out, and I'm in a lot better shape now than I was last week.
The Eagles' offensive line gets a ton of praise. Jurgens, though, is kind of forgotten. I know he's been good this year, but all the talk is about Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata and Mekhi Becton, and rightfully so. But in this game, Jurgens might have the toughest test of any offensive lineman by slowing down Chiefs' all-world defensive tackle Chris Jones. Although historically, Philly's had a pretty good game plan against the Chiefs' best player. Jones had a very quiet night back in Super Bowl 57. On 18 pass blocking matchups versus Isaiah Samuel, for instance, he had a 17% pass rush win rate. Versus the other 4 Eagle offensive linemen, he only had 1 pressure and no win rates above 9%. Jurgens being back and likely Landon Dickerson, although no update from him last night, should only help Philadelphia be able to impose their will on the Chiefs come Sunday and hopefully continue their trend of slowing down Chris Jones. Now, the only other injury update we got last night is Kenny Gainwell, who remains in concussion protocol, but was inside the very loud Superdome, so probably a good sign he's going to play on Sunday. It's crazy to remember that Gainwell was the Birds' leading running back in Super Bowl 57, posting a quiet 7 carries for 21 yards and the longest run of the night for any Eagles RB at just 9 yards. Lost in all the drama of Super Bowl 57 is the fact Philadelphia could not run the football. Jalen Hurts had a nice evening, but every other Eagles running back was virtually non-existent. Myles, for instance, fumbled on his very first touch and then was a non-factor the rest of the way. Jalen, as I mentioned, balled out, but really on a lot of critical 3rd and longs and doing what Jalen does best. Still, though, the fact the Birds had no running game the last time they played the Chiefs in a Super Bowl and almost won is pretty scary for the Chiefs. In the 4 Super Bowls the Chiefs most recently have played, in every win, no team has rushed for more than 90 yards with their running backs. Their lone loss was to Brady's Bucks, and Leonard Fournette ran for 150 yards on the ground and dominated the Chiefs in the fourth quarter. This time around, the Birds obviously have Saquon Barkley, maybe the best running back not only in the National Football League, but coming off the best running back season we've seen in a very long time. If he hits a home run early or just has a lot of success all game long, KC's going to see something that hasn't been a major factor since Brady and the Bucks in 2021, and that might be the key difference in keeping the ball away from Mahomes and in Jalen Hurts' hand as much as possible. Flipping back off the field, and despite some negative press floating around the Saints organization this week, ESPN's Adam Schefter confirmed once again yesterday that, quote, barring a setback, Moore will be the Saints' new head coach following the Super Bowl. This then prompted one NFL insider, Mike Garfolo, to claim that the current Birds passing game coordinator, Kevin Patullo, is the top candidate to watch to take over the OC job. Now, Patullo has been on the Eagles staff for 4 seasons, so he's gotten experience 3 different offensive coordinators and has been with Jalen Hurts since day one. He definitely knows his stuff, but my biggest question is, can he be a voice of reason when Sirianni wants to go back to watering down the play calls? We tend to forget that Moore coming in this offseason was a big step in taking away offensive power from Nick Sirianni. Sirianni was mingling and meddling in the offense last year. They brought in Kellen Moore. He took over play calling, took over everything else, and the offense definitely got better. There's no way to know if Patullo coming in is a good thing for Jalen Hurts or a bad thing for Jalen Hurts. I just hope he gets full control and can do whatever he wants to continue to make the Eagles' offense as dangerous as possible. We also got a very minor update in the Myles Garrett trade saga that dropped yesterday, as soon-to-be Eagles free agent Josh Sweat officially changed agents, going with the hottest name in the business in Drew Rosenhaus. Sweat is expected to be one of the top pass-rushing free agents in the entire league and is likely not going to sign back with Philadelphia to get a massive bag from another team, which obviously creates a hole at edge and perhaps adds even more incentive for Howie Roseman to make a call to Cleveland to see what it would cost to land Garrett. And one advantage Philadelphia's front office might have over the rest of the league is that the Eagles' vice president of football operations, Adam Berry, has a twin brother named Andrew, who just so happens to be the GM of the Browns. Do with that as you will. We also last night got our first Jeffrey Lurie interview, I think since the offseason, and he was asked about the Philadelphia Eagles possibly building a dome over the Birds' future new stadium in order to host a Super Bowl, and gave a pretty honest answer.
I don't have a strong opinion about it because you're torn. I love outdoor football. I love it, I love the cold games. I like the hot games. I like the snow games. On the other hand, does Philadelphia deserve to host the Super Bowl, NCAA Final Four? Lots of great events. It's an incredible sports city. Does it deserve that? Yes. So you got to balance all those things.
Not going too deep into location or tax dollars or the other high-level decisions that makes putting a new stadium in Philadelphia very difficult, it does feel like if and when they do this, a retractable roof is probably the compromise that Lurie is going to have to accept in order to get the big games in Philadelphia going forward. Which I'm for. Obviously, it's a long way from happening, but I just hope they keep some of the loud and intimate settings that make the Lynx so beloved since opening back in the early 2000s. With this future stadium, again, it's not a big concern of mine right now, but he talked about it last night, so do with that as you will. Thankfully, though, all the Super Bowl media nonsense essentially ended last night, as Philadelphia can officially start practicing on Wednesday at the Saints facility to actually get ready for the game this weekend. That practice will give us an even clearer picture on the injuries we talked about earlier, and hopefully they can just stay healthy and get ready to beat the Chiefs and win their second Super Bowl in franchise history. This has really been the longest 2 weeks ever, and there's been a lot of filler news the past couple of days, but stay tuned, be sure to subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to the big game, and more actual game critical news is going to go ahead and drop, and I'll cover it here on the channel as I always do. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out on a Tuesday. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.